Well, the war in Iran has prompted one of the top counterterrorism officials in the U.S. to announce his resignation. Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, said in a post on social media that he could not in good conscience support the ongoing war. He said that Iran posed no imminent threat to the U.S. and that the White House had been pressured into taking military action by Israel and what he called its powerful American lobby. Kent is the first Trump administration official to quit over the war. And for more on this, we can cross to our correspondent in Washington, Fraser Jackson. First of all, Fraser, I'm sure many of our viewers have never heard of Joe Kent before now. What can you tell us about him and why he chose to resign?
Well, Joe Kent is a big MAGA supporter. Think of this as being in a similar vein to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And just like her, he's become critical of Donald Trump in the resignation letter that he sent to Donald Trump earlier on Monday. He said in that letter, until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In that same letter, Kent blames Israel and the pro-Israel lobby in America for having hoodwinked Trump into this war with Iran. In it, he says high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the U.S. and that should you strike now, there was a clear path to a swift victory. It should be pointed out here, though, that the National Counterterrorism Center that he headed advises the U.S. government on terrorism, but isn't an operations agency in the same way that the FBI or the CIA is. But nevertheless, it still plays a key and important role in how the U.S. prioritizes and chooses targets, but also assesses terrorism threats as well. And because of that, Democrats strongly opposed his confirmation, pointing to Kent's past promotion of conspiracy theories, including the election conspiracy theories of 2020, and ties to far-right figures, including Holocaust deniers like Nick Fuentes. So these were all things that came to light during his failed bid to be elected to Congress and were re-highlighted during his confirmation hearings. He's also being accused of being racist, Islamophobic, and anti-Israel as well by members of both the left and the right.
Well, so you're mentioning here that Kent is a MAGA figure. So does this signal that there are more cracks emerging in Donald Trump's MAGA base when it comes to this war?
Well, I think it's interesting to see what the White House is doing around this as well, because that signals what their kind of groundswell is feeling. The White House closing ranks against Kent in the hours after his resignation. Donald Trump said he thought that Kent was a good guy, but also said that he always thought he was very weak on security. Interesting there then that he nominated this man to be head of the NCTC. But Caroline Leavitt tried to paint him as being against Trump's agenda by putting him in the same league as Democrats and the liberal media. And other White House officials as well, both current and past, are also lashing out at him. One said that he was a known leaker and that he'd been cut out of the president's intelligence briefings months ago, the official telling Fox News that he's not been part of any Iran planning discussions or briefings at all, and also saying that the White House had told the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, that Kent should be fired for the suspected leaks, but that she never did it. The other interesting person that we're hearing from is Taylor Budovich, who is a former White House official from the press shop who left a couple of months ago. He called Kent a crazed egomaniac who spent all of his time trying to subvert the chain of command and the will of the president. More widely, though, prominent figures are also splitting with the president over this war in Iran. Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, who was a longtime supporter, is now obviously out of Congress and is very vocally against this war, as is Tucker Carlson, a prominent media figure, and Candace Owens as well, another very widely watched and listened to podcast host who is also against this war. Trump says that MAGA will go wherever he wants MAGA to go, but there is definitely a fissure within the coalition over this war in Iran.
Okay, Fraser Jackson, a correspondent in Washington. Fraser, good to see you. Take care.